In this video, we're going to do a quick tutorial on how to make a picture frame for your TV. First, I went to Lowe's and found some molding that I really liked. Then I needed to measure my TV. I want the frame to sit slightly in front of the TV, so I measured the actual picture, not the size of the TV. As you can see, there's a little frame of black around my actual TV. And that's where the shortest point of the angle is going to start. I set my husband's chop saw to be at a 45-degree angle. Then, like I said, the shortest point is where the bottom of that angle is going to be. If you don't have a chop saw, you can get some skinnier frame and instead just use one of these miter shears. And I'll have a link for those down below. Once I had all four sides cut, I used wood glue in between the angles to make sure that they stayed together after I put on the L brackets. But before fastening the L brackets down, I did want to drill some pilot holes. So using a pencil, I marked where those pilot holes should be before drilling in my screws, because I did not want it to split. Anyway, whenever the pilot holes were drilled, I wasn't worried about it splitting anymore, so I could easily just drill it into the back. Now, I will say that my molding did have different, depths to it. So I drilled mine to the very top of it because that's where the thickest part of the molding actually was, because I was a little worried that if I did it any lower than this, that it would go straight through the wood and then you'd be able to see the wood or the screw on the other side of the wood. So if you're picking out frames, just remember that, or maybe try to find some shorter screws so that you don't ruin your molding that you picked out. Now, since I'm not a professional, there was a gap between that, so I just filled that in with a little bit of wood glue using my thumb to the best I could to smooth it out. Then once that dried, I was able to spray paint it. I didn't film myself spray painting it, but I spray painted it black to give it a good undercolor tone to the rub and buff that I was going to use to make it the vintage gold color that I wanted. And again, if you want some rub and buff, it is the best thing on the planet. I will have that link down below as well. I use this on everything, and a little teeny tiny bottle goes a really long way. So I've used it on so many projects. Just get yourself some rub and buff. It's amazing. Once that was done, I bought some elastic off of Amazon. Again, it'll be linked down below, and was able to just staple that onto the back. For the size of my TV, I felt comfortable putting it probably about 8 inches from the side. I don't think there's a right or wrong way to do this. I did pull it tight so that it wouldn't just be hanging loose on the TV, but I've seen some people do like crisscross or across the corners, but this is just where I felt comfortable doing it. So we were able to slide it onto one side and just stretch it over onto the other. Thanks, hubby, for putting it up for me. Then I have a Google TV. So on my TV, you can set certain pictures to be a screensaver. But if you don't have one of those, there are plenty of YouTube videos online that you can just look up that to be different pictures to show off whatever it is that you want to show off, so that it actually looks like a picture frame in your house and not just a TV. And that easy process turned my TV from this to this. So now it goes better with my home decor, and I get so many compliments on it. If you have any questions, feel free to leave them down in the comments, but otherwise, thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you guys next time.